Hey everyone, this is Chef Stephanie here at Turner Farms Teaching Kitchen, and I figured I would show you just a quick and easy fennel salad. So fennel is actually part of the carrot family. Surprising, I know, for most people who don't care for the anise type of flavor that comes with it. If you don't know what anise is, it's like a black licorice type of flavor, but it is more subtle than the candy, so bear with me if you're not a big fan. So it's going to be fennel salad that's shaved with some grapefruit, salt, pepper, olive oil. That's it. So it's very simple and straightforward. So first thing we're going to do is slice our fennel. So initially what I'm going to do is take off the fronds, and I actually keep these. I usually put them in a little container like this and fill it with water to keep them crisp, kind of like herbs. Clean off the bottom part. And when fennel grows, it grows around itself like that, so you'll notice that it falls into pieces like this. But what we want to do is actually slice it in half. So I'm going to just clean it up just a little bit more, and I'm going to cut straight down. That way we have a lot of flat surface, so when we go to slice it, it's not wobbling all over the place. So from here, I'm just going to thinly slice it. And you could always use a mandolin if you wanted to, but I think this is a little bit safer. So. And fennel, a lot of people will cut it the other way, horizontally, and then you'll end up with bridges. There's nothing wrong with that. I just like the straighter vertical lines. So from there, I also have a few more pieces. So we're definitely going to use that. And it's also really important to wash your fennel very well because it grows around itself. There can be sometimes some pockets of dirt. So definitely check it before you cut it. We washed these already. So from there, we already have some other sliced fennel because I didn't think you needed to watch me do a whole bunch. But we're just going to keep those right there. We've got a grapefruit. And with the grapefruit, we're going to zest it first, and then we're going to segment it. I think we've actually done a video on segmenting before, but I'm going to show you again. So I'm just going to use a microplane. If you have a normal zester at home too, that works just fine. And what I do is I work from one end to the other and keeping a straight line. I always zest over what I want the zest in, because then all the essential oils go straight into the bowl. From there, we still have some on the back end, so we're just going to tap it and make sure we get all of the good stuff in the salad. So from there, we're going to keep that to the side, and we're going to segment this. So first thing I do is I take the top and the bottom, and you'll start to see the grapefruit. So now we're going to cut around it. And what we're doing is removing the pith, which is that white part, and it tends to be really bitter, so we want to minimize that as much as possible. The other great thing about doing segments is we get a really beautiful, pretty elegant shape from the grapefruit. So I just worked around the fruit part. Usually you just throw these out, but first thing you want to do is squeeze them to get the juice out and put it into your salad. Sometimes I actually save these and I use them in just some infused water just because they have really great flavor still, but otherwise just compost them. So from there, we've got a little bowl so we can segment it. When you're making a salad, if you ever segment grapefruit, citrus, so like oranges or lemons and limes, you want to keep the segments separate from what you're tossing the salad, because basically they're really fragile. And if you try to toss a salad with the segments in it, they're going to break apart. And don't be like me. When I was 19 and an intern, I made this huge salad and I broke all the segments that I worked really hard on. So don't do that. Just keep them to the side and just garnish with it. So what I'm doing is we're seeing where the lines in the grapefruit are, so where the segments begin and end. And we're just following those lines to cut the segments out. And basically, I just follow them through the whole grapefruit. Now, this does take practice, and sometimes you'll end up with little ones, and that's quite all right. But I always do this over a container because it's really juicy, and we want all that juice as well. If you're not comfortable cutting in your hand like this, it's practice, and you're going to have to learn at some point if you want to. But using a paring knife can be a lot more precise. I'm more comfortable, honestly, with a chef's knife, but if you're somebody that wants a smaller knife in your hand as you're cutting towards your hand, use a paring knife. It's great for this. And you always want to make sure your knife is sharp as well. Beautiful. So now that we have the grapefruit segmented, we're just going to squeeze it because there's all that lovely juice in there. From there, we're going to use that juice and just put it over our fennel, make it a little vinaigrette. We're going to take a little bit of salt, maybe a little bit more, some olive oil. It's probably about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons, depending on how much salad you're making, and then just some fresh cracked black pepper. And now you can either use your hands or some tongs. I'm just going to use my hands for sake of expediency. And all you want to do is mix it together. This is actually great to do in advance and let it macerate, and the salt will kind of pull out some of the liquid from the fennel and make it a little bit more pliable. But I like the crunch. So I keep it just like this, and I'm just going to put it on a platter just so you guys can see what it looks like plated. So I've got the fennel down, and now I'm just going to put the grapefruit over the top and place it in random spots. So we're almost done, but there's one part that we're still going to use. It's the fennel fronds. We have them, so we might as well use them. They're great as garnish. And what I like to do is just pick the really tender pieces off. I don't want to use the really fibrous stem. Sometimes I candy those, but we definitely don't want it on the salad. It just might be a little too fibrous. So we're just plucking some of the greens off just to garnish it. It gives it a lot more color, and it gives it a little bit of a fresh vibrancy, kind of like fresh herbs. So, all right, one more because I'm picky, and that's it. Enjoy.